Good afternoon. This webinar offers closed captioning. To enable closed captioning, click on the live transcript button on the bottom of your screen and choose your preferred method. Welcome to the City of Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection webinar. Please note, any website or email that I mentioned will be posted in the chat. For those seeking business license assistance, you can visit us here at our Small Business Center and here at City Hall or call 312-74-GO-BIZ. Also, business license can be applied for or renewed online at chicagobusinessdirect.org. If you are a part of the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program and would like to receive credit for today's webinar, please send an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. To learn more about this program, please visit chicago.gov/business education. This webinar is being recorded and will be available at youtube.com/Chicago. We encourage all attendees to ask questions. Please use the chat box to send your questions. There will be a Q&A at the end of this presentation. Please note that the views, information, and opinions expressed during this webinar are solely those of the presenter and does not necessarily represent the official policy or position of the Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection or the City of Chicago. Today's webinar is entitled SBA 101. Resources and Paths to Recovery. At this time, I would like to introduce SBA Deputy Director, Mark Ferguson.
Thank you very much. I want to thank the BACP outreach team and all of those hard workers on that side of the city economic development portion of the city for inviting us to kind of share some of our resources. I want to thank you all on behalf of Administrator Guzman, Regional Administrator Agapai, and our District Director, Robert Steiner. And what I'd like to do is, with no further ado, we can sit and give accolades all day, but I'm sure everybody's chomping at the bit to learn exactly how SBA can benefit you and how you can take those resources and collaborate them with city resources to put that unique bundle together for your entrepreneurship dreams. With that, I would like to introduce you to Laki Sia. He is one of our outreach marketing specialists. Laki has been around with us for a couple of years now, and not only is he a diligent worker, but he is a diligent in believing in what it is that we do to help you. He's one of those folks that will go that extra mile to make sure that you get all the knowledge that you need and that you are armed with all the resources that you need to be successful in whatever your endeavors may be. So with that being said, Laki, I'm gonna hand it over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, Mark. And good afternoon, everybody. I see we have a good amount of participants here. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn about the SBA and what we can do for your businesses. You know, the one thing the SBA has used to be known as, you know, America's best kept secret when it comes to business owners. And when the pandemic happened, you know, all of a sudden everybody started knowing more about the SBA, and we had these programs to help businesses recover, like PPP, EIDL, Shuttered Venues Operators Grants. And you know, now that we're at a point now where we're going back to recovery, you know, we're really trying to focus on getting the word out of what the SBA really does, and it's really to help small business owners across America. So I'm going to be talking about the different types of SBA programs here today, but I'd also want to make sure that this type of webinar is going to be engaging and as interactive as possible. But the only way for that to happen is if you know, when I propose some questions or ask questions, I would love to get some answers from the participants. So you know, I'd love to, whenever I ask questions, feel free to put your answers or comments and feedback in the chat. And then later, after the presentation is over, we're actually going to open it up to Q&A. so that we can answer any questions you have in regards to SBA's programs and how that can help your business. So without further ado, let's begin. When most of you are business owners, and every business starts with a dream, and turning that dream into reality requires confidence, grit, and knowledge. And wherever you are growing your small business, the SBA does their best to have their back. But before you even get into business, you have to figure out your why, right? What is it that drives you? What are you thinking about when it comes to your business? So I'm just curious if any feel free to put it in the chat for the business owners. What is your why, right? What is it that drives you to do this business? Right. And it can be a mission, right? If let's say you are a thank you very much, Marcus, for the love of entertainment. Great. What else? To save our oceans from plastic waste, and it's fun. Great answer. Yes. Right. For those trying to understand your why, what is it that what is this goal of yours, right? So another answer was to help frontline workers. Another one said, ironically, after the recession, it was a new path and financial source. Give people new experiences. Great answer, Patricia. To provide excellent professional development to education managers. A journey to help fulfill a need for others. To have control over my financial life and help the greatest number of people. Yes. Somebody just said, I'm just tired of working for companies. Yes. A lot of people go into business because they realize that they'd rather be in business for themselves and work for themselves and build that generational wealth. Other people, like Jessica had mentioned, to help tackle the homeless issue that plagues us. Right? So we all have our different reasons for wanting to start our business. And so what the SBA does really is, we help ignite that change for your whys, right? So you can start your business confidently, not just to start it, but to grow it and expand your business, right? We provide the access to capital, valuable resources, business know-how, and the right expertise for each stage of your business life cycle. So when it comes to the business life cycle, you want to know where you are into your business life cycle. What the SBA does is we try to help you by providing these resources, right? The SBA has partner networks where we have offices nationwide. I'm representing the Illinois district and my deputy district director as well. And we are not just regional, but we are a federal government agency, and we also have partner networks to help you reach your business goals. Whether you need to create a successful business plan, get expert advice on expanding your business, to even training your team. Since fiscal year 2017, we've helped over 1.4 small businesses receive counseling or training from Sba Resource Partners. So let's talk a little bit about the Sba Resource Partners. Sba helps provide counseling to your business. These counselings can be in a form of one of our resource partners, such as SCORE. SCORE is an organization of business mentors, many of them retired executives and business coaches who help mentor and provide advice, where they give you real world solutions, scenarios, and mentorship. They also provide a lot of free workshops and webinars. You can find more about them through sba.gov/score. And SCORE is really one of those stepping stones to help you get a better understanding, especially if you are new to a specific business. I see here in the chat that somebody had mentioned that SCORE coaches have helped her immensely, and she highly recommends it. And feel free to keep commenting in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer any questions you may have at the end of the webinar during the Q&A portion. And so one of the other resources we recommend, especially if you're just starting out and don't have the budget to hire any consultants or hire experts, is the Sbdcs, or small business development centers. These small business development centers are funded in partnership with the SBA to help you as business owners get started or even continue growing and expanding your business. A lot of these Sbdcs provide these trainings at no cost to you, right? So I recommend taking advantage of Sbdcs because this is where your federal tax dollars are going to. If you're a female entrepreneur, we also recommend reaching out to the women's business centers. So women's business centers provide training and counseling as well in several languages, and they also provide business advice that's tailored to your business. The nice thing about these women business centers is it's really focused on female entrepreneurs. Now, if you happen to be a veteran, we also have veteran business outreach centers. What not too many people know is that there's so many different programs out there for veterans who want to start a business, and they can even provide referrals for grants as well. So now let's talk about building your capacity as your business develops. One of the other things SCORE provides is federal contracting. So not too many people know this, but the SBA provides federal contracting opportunities to small businesses. So you don't have to be a very large business to be able to work with the federal government. And the federal government, they buy all kinds of products and services from small business, and they are required by law to provide contract opportunities to these small businesses. Now, the SBA works with federal agencies to award at least 23% of all prime government contract dollars each year to small businesses. So aside from contracting, the SBA helps you with counseling, right? They want to make sure that you as a business owner can be ready to make sure that your business is marketable. You have the proper structure and experience. You have the proper systems and capacity in place so that you can get access and get awarded these government contracts. Now, to qualify for federal contracts, there are a couple of different programs we have. We have the 8A Business Development Program, the Hub Zone Program, which stands for the Historically Underutilized Business Zones, the Women-Owned Small Business Programs, and the Service Disabled Veterans Programs. The federal government aims to award at least 5% of all federal contracting dollars to small disadvantaged businesses. So that is the 8A program. The federal contracting dollars, 5% as well to women-owned small businesses, and 3% of federal contracting dollars to Hub Zone programs, and 3% of federal contracting dollars to service disabled veteran-owned businesses. So just to give you an example of, in 2017, the SBA awarded over $105 billion of all federal government contracts to small businesses. About 40 billion of that went to small disadvantaged businesses. 18 billion of that went to service disabled veterans-owned businesses. About 21 billion of that went to women-owned small businesses, and 7 billion of that went to hub zone businesses. So these programs are designed to make sure that they help a lot of business owners, not just with large businesses, but even business owners who consider themselves a minority, female, or disadvantaged. The SBA also has a mentor Protege program where they connect you with mentors who can help you navigate the bidding and acquisition process, or knowing how to manage contracts by securing the appropriate business and financial systems and resources available. And feel free to keep those questions coming. While I'm doing this presentation, I'm trying to monitor the chat as well, but please continue to put your questions in, and we will do our best to answer them at the end of the presentation. So another thing that the SBA partnered with are the Ptacs, known as the Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, and they're available nationwide, and they also provide in-person counseling and training services to businesses that want to sell products and services, not only to the federal government, but to the state and local governments as well. Now, these Ptac services are available either at a no-cost level, or they charge a nominal cost. And so this is what, I spoke, the first few things I spoke about was that we talked about a little bit about the other programs we have, but most people know that the SBA also helps with access to capital, especially in the time of the pandemic. That was the one thing they're known for. There was a lot of misconceptions saying, oh, the SBA is there to give away free money, but in truth, it's not free money, especially unless it was a grant. A lot of the programs we have are really loans, but these loans are where we help business owners that cannot normally get access to capital from their bank. And so you have to figure out the type of funding needed for your business. No matter what industry you're in or how long you've been in business, we connect you to different types of funding sources that will help you determine which one is the right one for you. Right? We have Sba Backed Loans, private investors, R&D awarded funds, and surety bonds. And I'm going to go into detail on what each of these are. And I'm just curious too, and feel free to put it in chat, how many of you have taken advantage of any SBA programs and services, whether it was PPP or EIDL or 7A? And feel free to put in the chat what type of SBA programs you've taken advantage of, so I know I can get a feel for the crowd. So I see EIDL, none, PPP, EIDL. Great. PPP, EIDL, targeted EIDL, EIDL and PPP. Okay. Now, if you got the EIDL, not the targeted EIDL, a lot of people make this misconception or confused, and they think it's similar to the PPP, where the EIDL can be forgiven. If it just says, it is the EIDL, the economic injury disaster loan, not the targeted EIDL or targeted EIDL advance, but just the EIDL, that is a non-forgivable loan. You do have to pay that back. Whereas PPP, if you qualified under certain stipulations, depending on your business size and the amount, people and applicants, small business owners were able to get that forgiven. So I'll continue on. So the Sba loan programs are unique, designed with unique needs for small businesses in mind. They have longer repayment terms compared to most banks and lower payments. There's also no payment penalties. And these are designed to help grow your business while meeting your financial obligations. The SBA's loan guarantees make it possible for small businesses to access the capital they need to start, grow, and expand their business. Now, a lot of people also make this misconception where they have to apply for the loan to the SBA. Now, the SBA is not the one who actually gives the money directly to the small business owner, but the SBA works with these lenders. So these business owners actually have to apply through the lenders. It is the SBA that is the one that actually makes the guarantee for these loans. So the SBA will help you access funding through a number of different lending programs for various uses to meet your business needs at any stage of your business life cycle. Now, whether it be from $500 for a microloan to up to $5.5 million, the Sba Backed Loans can be used for most business purposes, including long-term fixed assets and operating capital. Some loan programs we have set restrictions on how you can use these funds. So you always want to check with an SBA approved lender when requesting these loans. And your SBA lender can match you with the right loan that fits your business needs. And like I mentioned too, these are some examples of what you can use the SBA loans for: to purchase and renovate or expand your facilities, purchase inventory, equipment or machinery, even purchase land or real estate, or export a product or service. So to increase your chance of securing a loan, you want to make sure that you have a proper business plan, expense sheets, accurate financial projections, and financial statements, right? You want to make sure that when you come to apply for these SBA loans, that you come prepared. And if you're not sure where to start, I would recommend connecting first with those resources such as SCORE, or a small business development center, or women's business center. They can actually help prepare your business plan and loan package. These resource partners can also help you speak with the SBA lenders, where they will want to discuss with you the size and purpose of your loan, the size and age of your business, understanding your credit history, collateral, providing technical assistance, even assisting you with your financial projections, and even mentoring you. Just curious, for those who are starting a business on this webinar, do you already have a business plan in place? Yes. Somewhat, yeah. It's okay. No, yes, no. And so if you're not sure, like I mentioned, the first of how to create a business plan, You can look online, and if you need that one-on-one guidance, you can always connect to a SCORE or a small business development center, and they can help you create that business plan. Now, it's always best to work with somebody who has gone through it before, or these resource partners who've helped these businesses get these loans, because you don't want to go directly to a lender, or the last thing you want to do is go directly to the lender and not have anything prepared at all. So when you work with these small business development centers or resource partners, they will help you create that business plan. From even just something as simple as starting to just evaluate the market to see if there is an actual need for this type of product or service that your business has. So let's say that you've got the business plan, you have your financial statements, your financial projections, and you feel confident about approaching a lender. The next thing you want to do is actually go on our SBA website, sba.gov/lendermatch, and get connected to a lender. This Lender Match is an online tool that will help you get connected to an SBA lender. And so one of the things that you want to do when you're connected to an SBA lender is that you want to make sure that you are credit worthy. What does it mean by credit worthy? Well, they want to make sure that you have the ability to repay back the loan. And they usually look at these 5 categories, and we call them the 5 C's, right? They want to see that you as a borrower can demonstrate a strength of character, meaning having a good credit report or a steady payment history. They want to make sure that you have adequate cash flow, because they want to make sure that you can be able to repay this loan, right? They will want to see are you paying other all your business expenses through your business or your personal credit card, right? They will want to see if you have any collateral to offer the lender if a loan is not going to be repaid. They will also want to know if you have capitalizations, which are business assets, retained earnings, owner's equity, cash, and all other collateral. Right? Banks want to know, these lenders or banks want to know that you have some sort of skin in the game. And then they also want to know, are there any conditions that will affect your ability to repay the loan? The SBA also can help you secure capital from investors partnered through an SBIC, which is Small Business Investment Companies. An SBIC is essentially a privately owned company that is licensed and regulated by the SBA. These SBICs invest in small businesses in the form of debt and equity. Now, keep in mind that SBA does not invest directly into the small business, but it does provide funding to qualified SBICs with expertise in certain sectors or industries. Now, and then those SBICs then use their private funds along with SBA backed funding to invest in these small businesses. Another thing SBA has programs are through SBIRs, or Small Business Innovation Research and Small Business Technology Transfers. These SBIRs allow for federal grants. Now, these 11 federal agencies fund promising technology without forcing entrepreneurs to give up equity or ownership in their company. right? These are usually technology-focused small businesses looking to fund research and development or prototyping operations, and they can take advantage of 2.5 billion in federal funding that is made available every year through these SBIR or STTR programs. Again, an example of these federal agencies that would fund these would be the Department of Energy, the National Science Foundation, the Department of Education, the Department of Navy. So there's many different federal agencies that could provide grants for your business. So these are some key areas that we have seen for where funding has gone to: artificial intelligence, nanomaterials, clean energy, water filtration, education technology, and wearable technology. Another thing SBA program SBA has is the Surety Bond Program. This Surety Bond Program guarantees surety bonds from select providers so that small businesses can qualify and win work. We mostly see a lot of these in the construction industry. Now, if you have a product or service, you could actually consider your product or services to be part of trade and export. Many people don't know this, but the SBA has a program specifically for small business owners that are interested in exporting their product or service. And this is through the SBA Office of International Trade. And this is continuation of exporting. So the SBA also provides counseling and training through our U.S. Export Assistance Centers or even the Small Business Development Centers. They even have this program called the STEP program, which helps you find buyers internationally. And you can also get export funding. So export express loans or loans to help you with when you go on trade missions. They even have specific small grants that will help you with funding going to these trade missions or getting a booth at these trade expos. So if you are interested in getting into export as a small business, you can connect with the Sbdc or the U.S. Export Assistance Centers. Many of these U.S. Export Assistance Centers are usually co-located too with the Department of Commerce and Import-Export Bank. I know that was a lot of information. We're almost done. Now, I think the one thing too that has been a big takeaway, entrepreneurs are very resilient. Entrepreneurs, just have to keep going despite all the challenges, especially that we've had in this difficult time with the pandemic. Entrepreneurs have grit and they keep on pushing forward despite many adversities. So when we have these adversities, there's also major disasters, right? Us as business owners, aside from the pandemic, we have a lot of natural disasters. Some of the things the SBA also helps out with is help giving your business loans, especially after a major disaster that happened. This can be from due to floods, earthquakes, and such. So these SBA disaster assistance loans are, when a disaster strikes, the SBA provides these affordable and accessible loans to help get your business, home, and your life back on track. They assist homeowners, renters, or business owners affected so far by hurricanes Maria, Irma, Harvey, They've approved over 130,000 loans totaling close to 7 billion already. So another example is in when Hurricane Sandy happened, the SBA approved over $13.4 million in disaster loans for businesses and over 1.9 billion in disaster loans for homeowners affected by Hurricane Sandy. So I know there was a lot of information, and myself and Mark are going to be here for the I'm not sure how much time do we have, Stacy? We'll do our best to answer as many questions as we can, and we will go to Q&A. And I've also included our email there in case you need to email the district office.
Lockie, I want to say that was a great presentation. For all of you folks out there that are been in the chat or been a little bit reluctant to jump in the chat and we're concentrating on what Lockie was presenting, now's the time to ask all the questions you wanted to know about SBA, some of our programs, some of the things. We did go through quite a bit of material in like rapid succession, but I'm sure there's some of you that have that specific question that you don't want to keep it. You want to keep it general. Don't make it too personal. You might have to go ahead and get a counseling session for that, but you may want to know what SBA loans may be used for. Or Lockie mentioned 5 C's of credit. 5 C's of credit are instrumental for obtaining any kind of loan. So these are things that you might want to have out. Are copies of the presentation available or handouts? Now that, Lockie, I think that you and Stacy may be in a better position to answer. However, can we find out more about surety loans through SBA? You can go to www.sba.gov and look up surety bonding. Surety bonding is just another means to help all of you be successful in whatever it is that you're going to be doing, especially in contracting. Surety bonding is a way where you can get bonded, and we will go ahead, much like we do with our lending program, and guarantee the bond that, whether it's a performance, bid bond, what have you, any kind of ancillary issues that may come up. The bond is there to help you go ahead and complete the project if you had to bail out. It gives you that little bit of extra insurance. And mind you too, when you're looking at a bond, you will also have to look at your 5 C's of credit. We're going to look at you and make sure that you are what you say you are. You got to make sure that you are in a position to say, what is it? Why is it? How did it come about? How does it apply? What facts support your position that you are going to have a certain outcome? That's all you got to do. It's like doing a math problem. If you were like me, I was a pretty smart kid, but sometimes in math, I didn't show my work and I only got half credit. And then I had my lips poked out with the teacher. And he said, next time, Mark, show your work. That's all you got to do is show your work, prove it.
Yeah. To add to that question, Mark, there was a question earlier if this presentation will be shared. We're not going to be giving out this PowerPoint to the attendees, as these presentations regularly change with new ruling coming out, but this webinar is being recorded. So I'm sure that you'd be able to get access to the recording of this webinar. I see another question here. It says, are any centers in Chicago open to the public? So the SBA Illinois District Office is not yet open to the public. However, what is open to the public are these resource partners, such as the Small Business Development Centers, the Sbdcs. I believe SCORE is just still doing virtual programming and training. But the best way to go about that to see if any of these centers are open for in-person one-on-one training and counseling would be just to go to our website, www.sba.gov, and look at our resource partners, such as the Sbdcs, Small Business Development Centers, the Wisman Business Centers, the VBox and such. Another thing that would be another resource partner that's very new to the Sba family are our community navigators in Illinois. It's a pilot program designed to help a lot of small business owners in the underserved market. And we partner with them by providing them access to these resource partners as well, whether it be the small business development centers or the SCORE coaches and counselors. All right, I see another question here. Is there assistance or guidance for established micro businesses and solopreneurs that have struggled with restarting? Mark, feel free to jump in, but I would recommend even just if you are, restarting and you're currently struggling with your business and you don't have that funding, I would take advantage of the free resources the SBA has, like setting up an appointment with a small business development center so that they can help guide you through just getting your business back on track. And I'll put that, I'm going to go back to that here. There we go. So that is the website for the small business development centers. So another question is, glad you brought up the repayment of EIDL. What do we do in an industry, small business? Let me make sure I read this properly. What do we do if in an industry, small business is struggling in the city? Repayment has been extended through the year, but season ends in the fall and it's still slow. What I would recommend doing is, if you are having difficulty repaying your EIDL loan, you want to make sure that you look at the payment terms and agreement of that loan and call the disaster customer service center for your EIDL loan to see if there is anything that can be done. And what I'll do, this was asked by Teresa, I'll be sending you a link privately with instructions so that you can get the assistance for EIDL.
Maki, I just want to add to that for Teresa's question too. She has to understand one of the good things is that we are the federal government and we are the SBA. We understand that there are times when you can't make a timely payment. So you don't want to run away. You want to go, you don't want to run from the fire. You want to be like a fireman and run toward the fire and let us know so we can go ahead and make appropriate plans, because we might be able to put in a moratorium or make things easier for you, or possibly extend. It depends on what Congress or what the guidelines are for the program, but we can possibly extend the repayment term for you to make things a little easier. But it would not be in perpetuity. So, you can't keep coming up and saying, oh my, Mark, I'm in bad shape again, month after month after month. Sooner or later, you're gonna have to pay the piper. And but that comes with the leadership that you've exhibited in running and operating your own business, even through a pandemic. So that's a good thing. Lockie, I saw a question here is, do you need good credit? Did you see that?
Yes, go ahead, Mark.
Well, of course you need good credit. Now, what does that mean? Remember what I said in the chat? I said that SBA banks don't want to do business with you because sometimes you're a startup, you can't repay them in the terms they want to get repaid in, or you may not have collateral. In essence, there's some kind of shortcoming. The reason why we go ahead and we offer a guarantee to repay the loan in the event of a default is because that will mitigate away their risk and make them want to work with us, to work with you, to give it to you. But I will say this, you gotta have at least a decent credit rating. Okay, what's decent? You know, I think the lowest possible score, well, I don't even want to go on record for that. Let's just say you need to be in the 600s, but I've known loans to go through at lower scores than that, okay? So that is, you know, that's something that you want to work on. And if you do have a blemish in your credit, make sure you clean up all 3 repositories. Don't just clean up one and think it's going to get grandfathered in with the others, okay?
Great answer, Mark. Yes, I would recommend, if you have bad credit and you even are not sure how to work on repairing your credit, utilize, I cannot stress enough, utilize these no cost resources like the small business development centers, right? They have counselors and business advisors who can help put together a plan to help you with these different business needs you have, such as trying to build up your credit. Another question I see here is, can you apply for another SBA loan if you have one already that you still owe? The SBA has so many different types of loan programs, so you can apply for these other types of SBA programs. However, I also recommend that if you are applying for these other SBA loans, you want to make sure that if you owe a payment for these other SBA loan programs, that you are making these payments, as that could disqualify you from getting these other SBA backed loans.
In other words, let me go ahead and kind of clean that up a little bit.
Yeah.
You want to stay current with your SBA loans, of course. You know, yeah, you want to stay current with your SBA loans, especially if you're going to ask for more money to grow your business, or for whatever reason you need more SBA assistance. So you want to stay current with us. But the main thing that you want to understand is that you can have as many loans as you can under the SBA, up to $5 million. That's our ceiling. We can't go any higher than $5 million cumulatively. So if you have like 5 loans for $1 million each, if you look for a 6th loan for another $1 million, I can't help you anymore. Okay. Will student loans impact you for getting a loan? Student loans can impact you for getting a loan if you've defaulted on a loan. Now, let me just say this to you, is that think of the federal government, of which we are part of, along with, Department of Education, et cetera, with student loans. We're all backing monies to get lenders to give you these loans. So if you default on, say, a student loan or a HUD loan, or, FHA, VA, something like that, and then you come to the SBA and you say you want a loan, but you've defaulted on that, it's not going to happen. The rationale behind it is that you cannot drink from the same well twice if you already poisoned it. You get what I'm saying? So if you've already drank from the well and you did not perform as agreed, and you don't have a relevant, anything plausible, now we have to put on our civil servant hats and be good caretakers of the taxpayers' money, of which all of us on this call pay taxes on. Okay, we pay taxes, and that's, we just have to look at that.
I see another question here, Mark. They're asking, will student loans impact them getting an SBA loan?
Only if they're defaulting. Only if they're defaulting or you're slow paying. You gotta listen. If you have an adversity you have to have an LOX. An LOX is a lending term that we use called a letter of explanation. What is it? Why is it? How did it come about? How does it apply? Show me which facts support your position that you're going to have a positive outcome with this. So if you were slow paying and we note that, and that's the only ding, we may ask you as an underwriter, or the bank underwriters may ask you, well, what happened there, Mr. Jones? And you might tell them, well, you know, my mom passed away. We didn't have adequate insurance, da 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 da. And, you know, I had to stop working for about 2 months to clean the house and take care of the post arrangements on the demise of, you know, a loved one or something like that. But you got to have a valid reason. Okay. It can't be, you know, I often tell people, you know, you always had that one person that said, this guy sold me a lemon. They bought a new car and they say, sold me a lemon. I'm not going to pay him. Wrong answer. You need to pay them and get that settled in another means, because if you don't pay them, it's going to ding your credit report and you're going to look very, very bad to the public when you go apply for other loans.
All right, Mark. There was a question here about EIDL. I'm trying to find. Oh, okay. Question was, I received an extension for 6 months repayment. Will a letter come stating when the first payment is due? No, no letter will come stating when the first payment is due. That's because when you signed off on that EIDL loan, they did say that communication would be done electronically. And so you want to make sure that the best way to find out when your payment is due is to log into the payment portal of EIDL. Usually if let's I'll give you an example. Usually the EIDL loan is due a year from when you received that loan. So let's say you received that loan in January 1st of 2021, and it was due January 1st of 2022. The first payment would be due January 1st of 2022. However, because they've extended it for 6 months, it would then be due June 1st of 2022. However, during that time, interest would still be accruing. Another question. Let me see if there's any other questions.
You know, Lockie, I got one for us. During the pandemic, many have taken a hit to the credit while keeping their business above water. They wanted to know, where will we take that in consideration? Of course, we're going to take it into consideration. We're going to take, logically, we will take that into consideration. You know, not everybody was able to pivot like other folks may have pivoted in other industries. So we're going to take that in consideration. And I believe that the same person asked me about monies put into the business. Well, number one, part of getting a loan is putting your money where your mouth is. So you got to put in some kind of capital. You got to prove that you're in the game, okay? That you're in it to win it. If you don't put any money into the deal, then it's not good. Now, if it's an existing business and say you got hit with the pandemic and things got slow, if you have, you know, if you have financial statements showing your net worth, okay, that would suffice in a lot of times. But what you need to really, really, really be cognizant of is that whatever you say, you can back it up. Remember what I told you? It's like doing your math. When you were a little kid, you had to show your work. Show your work. If you say it, make sure that you know you can prove it through. or do your best that you can prove it through. Be concise, precise, simple, clear, persuasive, and just show us which facts support your position. And yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Okay.
Another question about EIDL here is if the question is EIDL going to be refunded? No, there's not going to be, right as of right now, there has Congress has not made any action to fund another economic injury disaster loan program due to COVID. There are economic injury disaster loans specifically for disasters available, and you can find that out on our SBA website. However, when it comes to the economic injury disaster loan that happened due to COVID, that program has officially ended. Mark, I see another question here. You may be able to, I don't know if you'll be able to answer this. Can an IRA be considered used as collateral?
I was looking at that and I was thinking about it, and many of them don't know this about me, but I'm a strong proponent of other people's money. Your IRA is set aside for your retirement. If you can avoid not touching that, then you want to do so at all costs. As a private banker before coming to SBA, yes, have I tied up people's collateral like that if they offered it? Only if they offered it, because by law, I can't go after it. Okay. But, I don't know, JS, Jennifer, I don't know if you really, that might be one that you may want to talk to me off screen. That's something that you may want to just talk to me or a personal, another resource partner, or somebody that can give you some good advice on that. Maybe perhaps your accountant and or attorney, because too, you might, that there depends. Is it a Roth IRA? Is it a straight IRA? You're not giving me a lot of details here. So, but I saw that one, but I wouldn't touch it. If I can get around it, I wouldn't touch it.
Are there any other questions? Feel free to put them in the chat or the Q&A box.
Yeah, because there's like 45 of them here, and I think there was 53 on the call. I think, Lucky, I think we only answered questions from 10 people. That means there's about 45 to 35 people that are walking aimlessly about. I'm sure if you don't have your question answered, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Throw it out there, and I bet you somebody else will jump on and say, man, I'm glad that guy answered that question or asked that question. Alrighty, man. I put over, hang on a second. I got one here.
This question of Vita's, Mark, I think they may have to reach out to us directly.
Yeah, that's one. I was looking at that one, and that's one that is going to need a little.
So I'm going to send
massaging. Yeah, it's going to be.
I'm going to send them a direct message with who to reach out to.
Sabrina, I'm not sure what you mean. Do you have to spend the money in a certain amount of time? That's going to be dependent upon the use of proceeds and what is in your what's in your agreements. Okay, your loan authorizations. If we are indeed talking about a standard loan, okay, when you get a loan, you'll get a loan authorization that says that. Okay, let's see, T, hang on a second.
So the question from Teresa, if we're looking for financial assistance, but actual counseling, if we're not looking for financial assistance, but actual counseling type of assistance, not quite a mentor, but an advisor, some situations we've experienced are recently way out of our league. This is where, again, a small business development center may be able to assist you or SCORE, right? Or even a women's business center. What I would do is reach out to all three.
Yeah, I mean, it won't hurt. It will not hurt. And that's the same thing I would say to anonymous or anonymous attendee asking about the ITIN number. You know, that was acceptable under the pandemic. I'm not certain whether or not it's grandfathered in as we emerge from the pandemic and COVID related loans. Okay. I'm not sure. You have an answer for that one, Lockie? Did you see that at ITIN?
I did see that question. I will have to double check as
Yeah, I know it was, I know we had some,
most,
it was.
there was an
permissible under
exception
COVID.
made. There was an exception made for the COVID EIDL program.
Yeah.
However, usually in my experience, most businesses require an EIN.
Mhm.
Another question is, are there any government grants available? So when it comes to grants, I would even recognize, our partners at the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago, and keeping up to date with their newsletters to see what is out there. I would also even recommend connecting with your local chambers of commerces, and again, talking to our resource partners, as they are the ones on the ground who know what type of grants are available that may be best fit for your businesses.
And just in general, I'd like to just say that perhaps if you go to grants.gov, www.grants.gov, you can see what might be popping up. And you see this one here? What's the best way to help your business credit grow?
I can answer that.
Go
I
ahead.
can give you a few ways to help really build good business credit. The first thing you want to do to build good business credit is to actually have good personal credit. You want to have a good credit history, right? When it comes to developing business credit too, in order for banks and lenders to see your business credit, you have to go through certain steps like getting a DUNS number, right? If you're not sure what a DUNS number is, just Google DUNS number application, right? From there, also, if you have vendors that you have to pay, you want to make sure that you pay those vendors on time. You want to make sure that you properly manage your account payables and receivables, and that it is organized and again paid on time. To build good business credit, open up a business credit card and again make regular timely payments. Do your best to not default on those payments. Another way to build business credit too is also just have good financials. You want to make sure that your balance sheet should balance. Because if you go to a business banker and you show them a balance sheet that doesn't balance, they're more likely not to give you that business loan, right?
Sure.
When you go to a banker as well, usually they will want to see recent monthly financial statements. And one other good tip I'd recommend that would help you as well is if you have a reputable and solid, well-recognized accounting firm that services the business, especially if, let's say, your tax return is prepared by a CPA, that I have seen that help build not only good business credit, but get a higher chance of approval when it comes to getting these small business loans. Anything to add to that, Mark?
No, I think that's, I think you did a good job with that. I think that's fair assessment is a good way to grow your business. Yeah.
All right.
Is there any more questions? Because I think we're at the hour, right? Or
there is a question: is SBA open only for pandemic loans? No, actually,
No.
if you might have joined the presentation a lot later, but a lot of the programs I was talking about was actually not related to all these loan programs I was talking about was not related to the pandemic. This is really what I was talking about was really SBA's core services and core programs. is really these, the counseling, the access to capital portion, right? So all these different loans I had mentioned, like, 8A loans or 7A or micro loans, right? And what I'll do is I'll respond to your question with a direct link where you can find more information about our SBA loans and programs.
All right.
Doesn't look like you have any more coming in.
Yeah, it
They're all
looks
saying
like-
thank you.
Yeah, it looks like we kind of wore them out a little bit, Stace. I think we answered all the questions. I'm just happy that we were able to answer their questions and that they got the most out of this joint effort with your finding with BACP and the outreach group, as well as those of us here at SBA. Just remind everyone that we love partnering with our partners from the city, BACP. We were just recently out at ShyBiz at Kennedy King College, I believe it was last Saturday. We're looking forward to accompanying them on some other Shy Business forums that they have at the community, or I should say junior college level, city college level, city colleges. And we will have some more webinars popping up. Above all, take advantage of your BACP. They have their centers. I believe it's 76 centers all around the city that can help you, in addition to the 38 centers, Sbdcs we have around the state, in addition to 5 score chapters, WBCs. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go into business for yourself, we have all the tools necessary for you to be successful. Okay? But it all begins with you. I always tell people preparation, contemplation without application brings no jubilation. So you got to put it in action. It's on you. So with that being said, I'm going to shut up, Stacy. I'll let Lockie close us out.
Oh, I think that's all we pretty much have, and we thank you for taking the time, and we really appreciate our partners at BACP, and thank you so much, Stacy, for helping us put this together. And if you want to know more as well about the SBA, like I said, visit www.sba.gov, and you'll find so much resources when it comes to various information and loan programs that really can help your business. And the best part is just a lot of these are come at no cost to you. So take advantage of these programs. And with that, we thank you again and have a great rest of your afternoon.
Thank you. To receive credit for today's webinar, please send an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. Again, that's bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. Thank you to our partners at the SBA for today's presentation. And I hope everyone have a great evening. Bye.